Austria thoughts, that was such a good race. I just wish that Charles hadn't been on a 150 stop strategy. However, it wasn't even really Ferrari's fault. He had contact with Oscar at the beginning, for which I do think he got squeezed. I don't know why I just became British in that moment. But he got squeezed by Oscar and Sergio Perez. There was like really nothing he could do. I do think Oscar should be put in I love you, Oscar. But anyone who hits Charles has to go to jail. Those are simply the rules. I don't know why I said he should go for hards to the end. That was not a good idea. Those hards lasted like 12 seconds. But unfortunately, I mean, he did a good job. He was making his way up, but it was just not gonna happen for him today. The Mercedes were fighting. This was like a good battle, and I don't even remember it because the rest of the race was so crazy. My two favorite camera angles in Formula One are the top-down shot of the pit stop and at the end of a long straight, like kind of close to the ground, when you can see the air vortices coming off the back of the car, or behind a safety car and you can see them all zigzagging, but it looks like they're just like popping out and going back in because of the angle. This has nothing to do with this race. Really appreciate that at each stage throughout the race, a different team stepped up and was like, we're just gonna go at it. Also, K-Mag killed me when they were like, manage your tires, and he was like, fuck that. King energy, and they were going back. Like, Haas was pleading with them to stop, and they were like, nah, we're not gonna do that. Alpine had another great battle. That's not on here, but they also were being pleaded with to stop, and they were like, we actually just don't care at all. I don't even remember what Fernando got a penalty for, if I'm being totally honest, but clearly I was excited about it. Also, Martin Brundle having to admit that Fernando was struggling, like you could tell he was in physical pain. He didn't want to do it. He was like, oh, he really is. But he must really be sucking it up if Martin Brundle is like, he's struggling. Why did he get a penalty? As we mentioned before, Charles, it was tough. It was tough this weekend, but you know what? We're on to Cincinnati. The Lando Max battle, and this is kind of what we've all been waiting for the past couple of races, right? Because everyone after Imola was like, ooh, Lando Norris, championship contender. And while I do think that McLaren has gotten their car there, I was like, let's see him pass Max Verstappen on track one time before he becomes a championship contender, because to beat Max for the championship, that does feel like something you're gonna have to do. So we've been waiting for this one, and he still couldn't do it. And I'll just say this. I know all of them bitch on the radio, right? And you point things out to the stewards. They can't be everywhere at once. However, every 5 seconds, Lando Norris was bitching about something on the radio. And yeah, is Max gonna get a little chippy? Yes. Max is very much in the Lewis coaching tree of, if you're gonna pass him, he's gonna get his elbows out. That's just how it is. And listen, was Max getting a little chippy? Of course, but that's to be expected. This is why I see Max so in like the Lewis mold of driver, is because they're both very good at driving right up until the edge of a penalty. Like, they know, and they obviously get it wrong sometimes, but they're very good at doing things that are like not quite a penalty. And you love to see it. Also, they were taking their sweet ass time on that track limits penalty. I was like, if he doesn't get violated to me, it's like you either went over or you didn't. It's a sensor. How is it taking that long? But then Lando rear-ended him and it didn't even matter in the end. So, and also, what a little quitter. He was like, retire the car. Like, the driver shouldn't be surely the team knows if there's terminal damage or not you. Like, he just had a puncture as far as maybe there was more damage than that, but the way I fully morph into a Max Verstappen stand the second he's going up against someone who isn't Charles or Lewis might be a little confusing for some. So I've created a list to clarify my current order of preference of drivers. Hang on, the green screen isn't gonna let me do it because the paper is white, but obviously up top here, and the spacing is relevant to like how big of a gap there is in my heart as well. So obviously up top we have Seb in a heart. Then we have Charles. Right below him, we have Lewis and Nico, who are tied, because I feel like it's like if you choose one, it's kind of, I love both of my DeForest parents equally, all right? And then right below that, we have Jensen, and then a little bit of a gap to Alex, Oscar, Max, and then George is kind of like right in between there. Oh, this is backwards, whatever, I'm not redoing it. And then all the way down here, we have Fernando, and then Lando. All of the drivers who are not on this sheet I don't care about. Not in a mean way, I'm just ambivalent. But I will be going live after this. There will be lots to discuss, so come chat.